Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 can seem pretty damn overwhelming at first, especially in the money-making department, because it can feel like you will never have enough money to purchase everything that you want and need and always be on the back foot. And to combat this, there might be a few get-rich-quick schemes that you could abuse, though I don't know about you, but I find that kind of boring. I want to make money, sure, but I also like to play the game and experience the game world and not focus solely on abusing a specific mechanic for hours on end right at the start of the game, just to have unlimited money to buy everything I could ever need for the entirety of my playthrough, because for me that takes the joy out of the adventure and the thrill out of the challenge. So today I wanted to give you a dozen or so tips to help you really hone your character and your skills whilst making the most of everything on offer to you throughout your journey, so you can make bucket loads of cash, but also not lose that sense of wonder and challenge of a first playthrough. And with that, my friends, make sure you are subscribed to Dom's Roundtable for more gaming guides, and let's start by taking a look at all of the most important stats. For the first tip, we'll start by looking at the main stats page, and I'll highlight a few standout perks that you can work towards depending on your playstyle, which will give you a big boost to your profits. The most important category here is speech. There is a ton of great perks in speech that are going to help you make more money. And in the order that you unlock them, firstly, we've got Silver Tongue. This is an absolute must-have. You gain +4 to your speech when haggling, meaning it is far easier to negotiate a much better price, and this applies for both buying and selling. Next up, you also have Polished Wares, but I like to skip this, because even though it does stack with Artisan, which we'll talk about in a second, Artisan is so superior that there are much better perks that you can put your points into. So even though Polished Wares is decent, I advise you skip this one. But just for the sake of argument, Polished Wares works only when selling, and only when the weapons and armor you are selling are in near perfect condition. And what it does is it gives you 10% extra sell value for, as I say, near to perfect condition weapons and armor. Though, as I also just alluded to, the Artisan perk is so much better. This will allow you to buy and sell all weapons, armor, and clothing at a 10% better price. That means making 10% more money and spending 10% less money, and this applies regardless of durability or anything else. So even though Artisan and Polished Wares both stack, Artisan is just so much better, and there are so many powerful perks in the speech category that I advise you skip Polished Wares. And the final one that I advise you grab early on is Hustler, which will not only allow you to more easily slip stolen goods by vendors when selling them, but will also net you stealth and thievery experience when doing so. So, pro tip, mix in lots of non-stolen goods every time you want to try and slip 1 or 2 stolen goods by a vendor, and chances are they will not notice. It is pretty easy to do this, especially as you level up your thievery skill, and as you see, you also gain bonus experience. So it is a win-win-win situation. Next up, onto your skills category. Firstly, in the alchemy tree, we have Potion Seller. If you are an avid alchemist, you'll know I don't particularly like alchemy in this game, but if you do, Potion Seller is a fantastic perk, which allows all potions that you brew to sell for 30% more. That can be quite significant when you are making the highest tier potions in the game later on in your playthrough. Also in the survival tree, if you grab On the Poacher's Trail, then all herbs, game, hides, and trophies will sell for double the price. And there are multiple other perks within this tree that will allow you to gather more herbs and also allow you to get more of other items like hides and trophies every time you are butchering and skinning game. So there are many ways to improve the benefits that On the Poacher's Trail already gives you if you like to hunt and forage quite frequently in this game. And finally, for this tip, Sticky Fingers in the Thievery Tree will net you a small amount of groschen every single time you successfully steal anything from anyone in the Thief minigame. It may only seem like a small amount at first, but trust me, you will be doing lots and lots of robbing. It's such a great way to get rich quick, and you'll see that in many of the tips in this video. Also, as an added bonus, every time you loot someone who's already dead, you will automatically find more money on them than you would have otherwise. So literally every single time you come across a dead body, no matter how they died, when you loot them, they will have more groschen on them than they would if you didn't have this perk. The next tip is going to go in depth into the power of improving stats like your thievery and some of the different things you can do to get very rich very quickly. And as I alluded to in the previous tip, this primarily revolves around becoming adept at the robbing minigame. Of all of the underhanded actions that you can perform in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, sneaking, lockpicking, choking people out, distracting people with stones, and being able to take Fuck, what the fuck did I say? Rectums. What the fuck is wrong with me tonight? Oh, Christ. Usually I ask my editor and beautiful wife to leave out all of my dribbles from videos, but the fact that I'm pretty sure I just said rectums needs to stay in this video. Christ, right. Take two. And being able to take items directly out of someone's pockets, this is by far the most valuable and profitable skill. Let me give you one incredible example. At night, whilst everyone is asleep, the shops and the chests inside of them containing all of that shop's inventory are locked up tight. Usually with a lock that requires an absolute mastery of lockpicking to be able to unlock. Usually when you interact with it, it will not only say it's a very hard lock, but it might even advise you that it is literally too hard for you to even attempt, and you physically just cannot unlock this lock. However, do you know what isn't locked? Or even if it is, it's usually behind a pretty flimsy lock. That would be the pockets of the owner of the shop. So all you need to do is make your way through their front door, which, as I say, usually has a pretty flimsy lock on it, if it's even locked at all. Sneak in and find the owner, grab the keys off them through the robbing minigame, and now you'll be able to walk into the shop and help yourself to many, many of their valuables. Just please be careful taking too much, because as you'll know from my mistakes video, you don't want to raise tensions too high in town and make everyone very suspicious of you for no reason, because no one saw you do the crime, so clearly it wasn't you, was it? Clearly. Then obviously all you need to do before you flog all of these goods is wait a couple of days for the stolen modifier to be removed, or alternatively you can just go to a faraway town where they're not considered stolen. And if the shopkeeper that you have decided to target for this method of your thievery happens to be the likes of a tailor or a blacksmith, then this is a completely free way to net yourself a brand new shiny upgrade to one of your armor sets. Okay, next up, in the early game, you definitely want to focus on building your relations in each area by just generally being a nice person, but also doing as many tasks and side quests as you can. Not only will this have a boost on your relations with the individual who asked you to do the quest, it will also boost your relation with the entire town, giving you far better profits when you buy and sell because haggling will be far more effective. So for now, save your money if you're still very, very early on in the game. Don't burn it all on a new armor set inefficiently. It's fine to run around with your crappy starting gear for now, do a few odd jobs, bump up your stats and your relation, and once you've unlocked a few of the nice perks we talked about, now you can focus on making bank and robbing everyone blind. And as another added bonus, as you will see here, most quest rewards in this game are insane. So this quest here that I'm just on my way to hand in now saw me going and taking down a bandit lord called Kanker and his gang. That obviously netted me loads and loads and loads of armor that I can now go and sell, along with a bonus quest reward of nearly 100 groschen, and I was even able to request his weapon as a souvenir, which I can now go and sell. But an even better example, later on in the game, this quest here that you are about to see me hand in, all I needed to do was sprinkle some water over some fireplaces. That was quite literally the only step in this quest. I have also been rewarded with a golden cup and a golden chalice, and as you'll see in my inventory, they sell for hundreds. Basically, this easy side quest just netted me over 1,000 groschen, so they are well worth doing. Oh, also, check out the top right, I just improved in both survival and vitality as well. Next up, let's talk about horses. Horses can easily make you a quick 500 to 1,000 groschen, sometimes even more. In fact, the only real blocker with how much money you can make in horses is how much money the horse trader has. Usually, if you find a particularly lucrative horse to sell, the trader won't be able to give you the full value it's worth because they don't have enough money. So now, let me show you the right and wrong way to go about using horses to absolutely skyrocket your money. Firstly, one quick tip to note when stealing a horse is that you cannot pass time whilst on a stolen horse, and if you jump off it, it's most likely just going to run back to wherever you stole it from. So here's one example of how stealing a horse can go for you. I have just determined the location of a horse, and I've marked the location here on the map. It should be here for you in your game as well if you would like to use this exact same location, and we're now going to start sprinting there. Obviously, you want it to be the middle of the night because everybody needs to be asleep, because if you are seen, it's going to make this far harder, and most likely you're going to get a bounty on your head. Next up, when you get to the location, make sure everyone's asleep. This particular camp of, I believe they're woodcutters, they apparently don't go to bed until after midnight. So I'm going to sleep until around 4 AM. Make sure it is no later than this because they will all be awake by 5. We're going to sneak up to the horse and we are going to steal it and very slowly, quietly and carefully walk it away from camp. Once you are comfortable that you're a decent distance away, at this point you can open up the fast travel menu, and now you are just going to keep fast traveling back and forth between places to act as a time skip. Because as I say, if you try and skip time or sleep, a horse you have stolen will just vanish back to where it came from. So now we're going to do a few long and random journeys just so we can progress the time to the point where all of the shops are open, and then make our way to the nomad camp where horse trader Mikolai is. Speak to him and you will be able to open the menu for the horse black market, but hold your horses, pun intended. Sorry, that was so bad. Basically, as I said earlier, he's only going to have a certain amount of groschen. So it's at this point that you want to buy a bunch of stuff that you otherwise probably wouldn't have purchased. And he has a particularly good saddle and spurs that I have had my eye on for quite some time now. So I'm going to pick up both of these, haggle him down because paying nearly $1,000 is ridiculous. Luckily, he's happy with 820, and now that he has a decent amount of money, I'm going to sell this really good horse back to him for every single bit of money that he's got. So now I have basically just got 2 very powerful mid-game horse equipments for free because I just made the money back by selling a horse to him that wasn't even mine. And it's as simple as that. I believe you can only do this once every like 24 to 48 hours. If you try and speak to him too quickly after selling him a horse, that menu won't appear for some reason. Don't know if it's a bug or a glitch, or if it's just to stop you from abusing it, but you can only do it every so often. And usually, I believe he will only have a total of 355 groschen, so if there's nothing you want to buy from him beforehand, you don't need to worry about stealing a really, really expensive horse. Any horse will pretty much completely rinse him of all of his money. Now that you know a lot about how to make some money, the next few tips are going to be how to save money. And firstly, we're going to be talking about the various types of repair kits. And let me give you the maths behind why repair kits are so incredibly efficient. We're going to start off here at a tailor. And as you'll see, if we want to get him to repair all of the clothing in our inventory before haggling, it's going to cost us 56.3 groschen. So I could probably haggle him down to maybe 52.51. However, now let's take a look at tailor's kits. I can buy one tailor's kit for 25.5 groschen. So we've bought two, we've haggled him down to 43. So that is one tailoring kit for, if my maths is correct, 21.5 groschen. Whereas don't forget, he wanted 56.5 to repair all of our clothing. Now, let's use one of these tailoring kits to repair all of the exact same clothing we were just about to get him to repair for us. As you can see at the top right, each tailor's kit has a durability of 100, so that's going to use half a tailor's kit to repair absolutely every bit of clothing that he was going to charge us 56 groschen for. And don't forget, because of the haggling, we bought one kit for 21 groschen, so this repair has just cost me about 12 groschen instead of 56. Percentage-wise, if you're doing this on a big scale, that is a huge amount of money saved. Now let me do the same thing with plate and chainmail at the blacksmith, and you'll see the cost savings add up exponentially. So let's do the exact same practice again. If I want him to repair everything that he is equipped to repair in my inventory, it's just going to cost 669.1 groschen to have him fully repair everything. However, if I now go back and buy a few more armorer's kits from him, which as you can see only cost 43 a piece, and that's without haggling. So for sake of argument, we'll say 40. And I've now been able to repair every single thing for just shy of 6 armorer's kits. So that is around a total of 240 groschen. So a saving of about 400 by repairing everything myself. And I'm sorry, I know that was a very long-winded way of explaining this tip, but I just needed to hammer home to everyone exactly how beneficial it is to always use these repair kits rather than paying for repairs yourself. And now also, if we open up our perks and go under craftsmanship, there are 2 perks that will make repairing your armor and clothing yourself even better. Firstly is well fitted, which means anything you repair is going to make less noise, so you're even better at being sneaky and stealthy. And also is 7 league boots tier 1 and 2. And at tier 2, this means that if you repair your boots yourself, sprinting will cost you 50% less stamina, so you can run forever. There are also a few perks that synergize with getting the craftsmen themselves to repair your gear, and I have taken a few of them stupidly because I do advise against this. It is so inefficient. As you've seen over the course of the game, you will be saving tens of thousands of groschen by just repairing everything yourself. This next tip I know I've already spoken about before, but it bears repeating because it is so good for saving you money, so I won't dwell on it because most people have probably already heard it. Wash yourself and your clothes in a river rather than at a bathhouse. The TLDR is washing yourself at a bathhouse not only costs loads more, but it will only wash the clothes you are currently wearing. Whereas at a river, all you need is a bar of soap, which costs pennies, and you can wash yourself and every single bit of clothing in your entire inventory. And yes, you will smell a little bit nicer at a bathhouse, but nobody apart from the finest lord in the land is going to notice. So only ever use a bathhouse if you feel like it's an absolute necessity, like right before the wedding. Apart from that, always use a river. It's so much cheaper, so much more efficient. This next tip is another fantastic way to net yourself a new armor set if you don't think your thievery skills are up to the task. All you need to do is go for a walk and find a lone mercenary or human to kill, and they're usually wearing pretty good armor, which will just require you to then spend a few groschen on a repair kit, and you are good to go. You've got yourself a brand new set of really powerful armor. And as long as nobody saw you do it, well, then you didn't even commit a crime. You've just got a free armor set out of nowhere. And honestly, just look at some of the armor I'm looting here, just from simple bandits. I don't even need to look at the stats. You can just look at the value of how much this all sells for. Some of it sells for hundreds and hundreds, so you know this is going to be very powerful armor. And if you need some more regal, charismatic gear, well, there's wandering nobles too, and they do go missing. There are wolves on the roads, there are bandits on the roads. If a noble happens to fall off of his horse, I mean, it's fair game really, isn't it? For this next tip, we have spoken a lot about waiting for that stolen modifier to be removed from things you have recently stolen so that you're free to sell them wherever. But if you don't want to wait for that to be removed because you need to go pretty damn far afield for people to not know that it's stolen and you need the cash now, then go and find a miller or a fence. They are more than happy to buy stolen goods from you. Because I've just stolen all of these items, obviously they will now hold the stolen tag on them for a few days. However, if I go and speak to the miller, obviously as you can see, pretty much every single thing here isn't considered stolen by him. And that's because they're basically criminals too, and they'll buy pretty much anything off you no matter where it's come from or how you got it. They will offer you slightly less money than a regular merchant, but it's still pretty reasonable, and they don't care where an item's from or how you came by it. So go and find a miller if you need to offload everything and you don't want to wait or try and find someone else that is potentially going to buy all these stolen goods. Last resort, millers are your best friends when it comes to all things criminal. And my final tip, my friends, is just to progress through the game. The main quest line offers you some of the best rewards in the game, from completely free sets of armor to loads of money to literally free horses and free armor sets for your horses. This quest you're seeing right now is literally just to go and speak to a stable boy, and he will literally offer me a straight up free upgrade for my horse if I want, along with a bunch of equipment for that horse as well. Sometimes, rather than spending hours and hours using all of these get-rich-quick schemes, trying to grind groschen and not really playing the game, and in reality, all you should have been doing is just playing the main game and being rewarded for your efforts. As I say, you get incredible rewards from the main quest line, and the story is absolutely fantastic. So if you're focusing too much on the side content, and you're not getting yourself immersed in the main storyline, well, you're missing out because it's incredible. So if you get bored of doing all of the other things in this video, then just go play the game. You'll still get some really awesome stuff and you'll have a lot of fun doing it. And that is all I had for you today, my friends. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Go check out the official domsroundtable.com website should you wish for more quick guides and tips. And with that, all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.